And I'm going to be sharing my screen here shortly. But before we get started, again, my name is Scott Clark. I am the principal at MOSAIC. I have a very lucky and fortunate position to do that. I'm also here with our two kindergarten teachers as well, Mrs. Donaldson and Mrs. Comer. I'll have them introduce themselves really fast.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa Comer. I am one of the garden teachers. This is my third year at MOSAIC, second year in kindergarten at MOSAIC. I previously taught first grade there. Miss Donaldson.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Donaldson, and we'll explain who we are a little bit later. I don't want to take up the time, so welcome everyone. We're excited to have you.
And I know that our school counselor, Ms. Blanchette, is with us as well. So thank you, Ms. Blanchette, for joining us. I appreciate it. This evening, we're going to talk a little bit about, Ms. Blanchette, did you introduce yourself real fast?
Hi, I'm Ms. Blanchette.
And so we're going to have, we're going to start off a little bit about what makes MOSAIC so special. The staff members who I've talked about that have introduced themselves, they are going to be kind of sharing a little bit about themselves as well. And then we're going to go into some of the learning experiences that we offer at MOSAIC. We're going to talk about the timeline of the lottery process, also kindergarten registration. And then of course, we'll leave time for questions as well. If I can ask everyone just to kind of, I think we do have a pretty good amount of people on here. So one thing that is very helpful, if everyone can mute themselves and then also turn off your video, that kind of helps with the bandwidth and makes things go a little bit smoother. And then also, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. And then once we get through our presentation, we will go back and kind of address any questions that you have. I will also say if you have, most of the time the questions are kind of around the logistics of the lottery, kind of some timeline stuff. If you have any questions really kind of personal to your family and to your child, feel free to reach out to me at a later time, and I'd be happy to discuss any questions that you may have. So at this time, I'm going to share my screen in our presentation. I'm going to start us off with kind of some of the information, and then I'll be turning it over to our kindergarten team, and then also to Ms. Blanchette, who's going to be sharing a little bit about herself as well. So, all right, hold on real fast here. And now I'm going to say the most common thing that was probably been said in the last 2 years. Can everyone hear me? Can you see my screen? Mr. Comer, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right. So again, thank you for joining us this evening. We greatly appreciate it. And we appreciate your interest in MOSAIC. I know that we have some families on this evening that have older siblings that are attending MOSAIC. So thank you for being here as well. So MOSAIC, we are in our 5th year, and MOSAIC stands for Melville Oakville Students Achieve, Imagine, Create. And so, like I mentioned, we are in our 5th year as a school, and we are a lottery-based school in the Melville School District. We're the 11th elementary school, and we serve all 10 elementary schools. So any child that is eligible to attend a Melville school can apply for the lottery. This includes students who in the past who've prior, if they're in an older grade, if they were in homeschool or if they were in a parochial school, but as long as you're eligible to attend a Melville school, you can apply. This is our approach that we believe, some of the beliefs that we have and the experiences that we have for our students. We really talk a lot about partnerships between teacher, student to student, but also with our families as well, and how we establish learning possibilities really based off of a student's pace of learning, their goals, their interests, while of course following Missouri learning standards as well. We feel that we prepare our students really, and you'll see this coming up here in a second in our mission, for success beyond MOSAIC. So not
Dr.
only
Clark?
academic, yes.
All I see is your ZenWorks screen.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
hold on a second.
Yeah,
Not
I
sure.
thought you were using that to get to the presentation, so I didn't interrupt you sooner.
No, I appreciate you doing that. I'm not sure why that's the case. Hold on real fast. Thank you for saying something.
Sure.
Is that better?
Yes, but they didn't see the previous slide, so I don't know if you need
Okay,
to.
I'll tell you what, I'll go back real fast. So again, MOSAIC, and it should have the Melville Oakville Students Achieve, Match, and Create on, is that correct?
Yes, we see it now. Great.
Perfect. Not sure what happened there, but we're good to go now. So as I mentioned, kind of beyond MOSAIC, how we prepare our students for their educational experience in middle school, high school, and beyond, that comes across in our mission. So the MOSAIC community will create personalized paths to empower learners for life beyond the classroom. When we talk about empower, we're really talking about a student's ability to understand themselves as a learner, be a self-advocate for the materials and resources that they need to be successful. Those are some of the things that we hear when we meet with our middle school teachers or principals, that just how well prepared their students that come to them from MOSAIC really are for academic success. We also have our visions, which is this really ties right into what MOSAIC stands for, which is achieve, imagine, create. And so achieve kind of the academic side, the imagine is really bringing in the passions and interests of a student. And then create, we really provide a lot of opportunities for students to do hands-on learning experiences. I know Mrs. Donaldson, Mrs. Comer will probably talk about some of the things they're doing with their students, taking them outside of the classroom. They're really doing some exploration in outdoor play, which has been really fun to see. These are some misconceptions about MOSAIC, and some of these probably date back to the very beginning. And I think that we've done a good job of maybe answering and maybe changing some of these misconceptions, but I did want to bring them up. Some of the times that people think it's only a school for gifted children. And although we do have a gifted population that attends Stretch, which is our gifted program, we are a school for all students. This approach of teaching does not address core fundamentals. I would say absolutely not. We really tie our learning experiences based around the Missouri learning standards. Once again, preparing them for their experience in middle school and high school, and of course, if they go to higher education. This approach is only available at the elementary level. That is no longer true. Our middle school academies are now in their third year. And we're also offering what's called My Path, which is an entrepreneurship at the high school level. And currently the high schools are working on a freshman academy as well. So the district has really have placed a lot of time and resources on personalized learning so that our students have this kind of experience all the way from kindergarten through 12th grade. The other misconception is technology leads to learning. Although it is a great resource and a support, it does not lead learning at all. Just again, it's just another support for what we do with our students. And Mrs. Comer, Mrs. Donaldson will show you some examples of how they use technology tonight. So you'll see a little bit later. Here is our belief. Our belief that every child and teacher is a learner. And I always say that every adult that's in our building is a teacher. That goes anywhere from a classroom teacher to a custodian to our secretaries. We all take on that role of being a champion for our students. So we also believe that learning has no timeline, kind of like I mentioned earlier, that we really believe in the pace of the child, that we realize that not all students grow at the same rate. So we accommodate to that child. We believe that each child develops at a different pace, as I just mentioned, and each child can succeed. Absolutely. And most importantly, we believe that learning is and should be absolutely fun. Mrs. Donaldson is right now working on her doctorate. So we are also not only, we model learning for our students as well. So we are constantly growing as professionals. So we know that learning is a lot of fun. This is just some recent work, and actually you guys are one of the first ones to see it. It's our new 5 pillars, and this is kind of like our beliefs, our values, our commitment. And these have changed. We had 5 other pillars, but we felt that we have, and it kind of goes with our very first pillar, that purposeful evolution. We have continuously evolved, and we knew it was time to kind of revisit our pillars and our beliefs. So this has changed a little bit. So these are our new pillars. First one I just mentioned, purposeful evolution, always evolving, always getting better, but doing it with purpose and intent, not just changing to change. Collaboration, like I mentioned earlier, there's the relationship between the teachers. That's one of the advantages of having a smaller school. Our teachers have the opportunity to work together quite a bit, but also a collaboration between student and teacher, student and student, teacher and family. So we really are intentional about providing a lot of opportunities for collaboration in our building. Learner agency is really about the learner understanding themselves as a person and understanding what they need to be successful. So that kind of goes into personalization, but we build those skills through feedback. And that is one thing that our teachers do. That was probably one of the most important components of personalized learning, is providing very specific and ongoing, consistent feedback to the child. Another thing is authentic learning. It's purposeful. It's a real world application. We also have talked about building in empathy and community within our students as well. So, so that's another piece. And then finally, that growth mindset, being positive, even when things are difficult and challenging. And of course, developing what some are identifying as those soft skills, perseverance, grit. And those are some of the traits that our employers are looking for these days. Oh, we have a fancy transition into Mrs. Donaldson. So at this time, I'm going to let our kindergarten studio teachers kind of share a little bit about themselves. Oh, is that Shug?
It is. It is.
Oh,
Shug.
you guys are going to hear a little about Shug here in a second.
He's retired. Hi, I'm Marilyn Donaldson. I am an early childhood certified, elementary certified, administrative certified, and now I'm working on getting my doctorate at Maryville University. I will have that next December. This is my 5th year at MOSAIC. I've been a teacher all around, teaching multiple grade levels for the last 12 years. I am currently married to my husband of 21 years, and he is a police canine handler. You saw his retired canine. Right now he's in Pennsylvania getting his new dog. And I have a son who's 18 and a half, a daughter who is 17, and I have 2 dogs. You saw Gus and Shug. I love to bake. I love to read. I love anything Disney. You will, anything Disney. If your kid's got a Mickey Mouse shirt on, I make a big deal out of it. And my favorite book character is Pinkalicious. And I will let Mrs. Comer introduce herself a little bit. Welcome tonight.
Hello, everybody. I am Melissa Comer. I am also one of the kindergarten teachers. Studio K is what we call ourselves at MOSAIC. This is my 20th year teaching. I have already taught 15 years of kindergarten, 2 years in pre-K. I did 2 years teaching students that speak a language other than English at home. And I taught 1 year of 1st grade at MOSAIC. I am married to my husband, Kyle, for 15 years. I have a son, Colin, who is 13 and is 7th grader at Oakville Middle School. And he was a 3rd grader when MOSAIC opened and joined MOSAIC. And he is in the academy program at the middle school. So he's taken what he learned at MOSAIC and is using all of that in the academy program in the middle school. And I have a Studio 4 son, Keaton, who will also do that. He'll be in 5th grade when your students are there next year, and then he'll go on to the academy at Oakfield Middle School as well. I love to cook when I have time. My passion is to sew. I love sewing dance costumes mostly, but I will alter anything really. And my boys play a lot of soccer. And so if I wasn't doing this tonight, I would be at a soccer game. So I love doing that. My favorite book is A Bad Case of the Stripes. And kindergarten is my absolute favorite grade. And I'm so lucky that I was chosen to be an educator at this school. It's truly a blessing. Looking forward to having your kiddos.
All right. Uh-oh.
I was going to have Mrs. Blanchett really fast, just maybe
Yeah, go
explain
ahead.
about herself, and if that's okay.
I don't know what happened.
Can you guys still see my screen? Shouldn't be no problems.
It says delayed
Hold on.
voice.
I tell you, Ms. Blanchett, if you just want to kind of maybe share a couple of words about yourself and maybe some of your background. And
Sure. I'm Miss Blanchett. This is my 10th year of being a school counselor. I've always been at the elementary level. I used to work for a charter school, then for St. Louis Public, and then the School District of Washington. I have been at MOSAIC since it opened, so this is my 5th year. I do get the opportunity, since we are a small school, I get to go into the classroom once a week, which I really like. It gives me the opportunity to get to know all of the students. We talk about a lot of different things when I come to visit the classroom. We talk about the helpers in the community. We use zones of regulation just to help them with their feelings. And really, I am very pleased that we got to do that as a whole school. So your student will be able to kind of carry on their knowledge all the way through 5th grade. And it's pretty neat to see them when they're helping the younger kids. And then we also do study skills and college and career readiness, which you might ask, what in the world does someone do? What is my child going to do in kindergarten for college and career readiness? But we're just looking about the people in our community and who are those helpers and the things that they really like. So it's a lot of fun going into the classes and seeing them weekly.
thank you very much, Ms. Blanchett. I appreciate it. And now I'll turn it over back to the kindergarten team to talk about delayed placement and some of the things that we do in the classroom as well.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. It is a blessing to have Miss Blanchett on our team. She's very accessible for our students and their needs, social, emotionally, as well as teaching some of them those lessons. So some of the things we do, delayed placement is something pretty much all elementary kindergarten teachers do in the district. So it's not unique to MOSAIC, but it's something that we take the time to assess and get to know each of your children. We look at them both socially and academically over the first 2 weeks. It's about 8 days. And so we're doing a lot of assessments during this time. We're looking at how they interact socially with peers in the classroom, looking at dynamics. We don't place them. Well, so typically we place all the boys in my half and all the girls in her half, just so that they have a space to put their belongings for the first 8 days. But we take the students and we blend them, we mix them up over those 8 days, looking at those dynamics, doing assessments. And then at the end of the 8 days, you will be notified who their homeroom teacher is. But really in our unique situation at MOSAIC is they have both of us. We're both their teachers, and it's probably one of my favorite pieces. I mean, we do a lot of fun stuff, but it's probably one of my favorite pieces. And the students knowing that they have two teachers and that they can access and get their needs met easily with either teacher. We will notify you who their homeroom teacher is. And it's just something we value in having the opportunity to do at the beginning of the school year. If you want to go ahead, Dr. Clark.
One more thing on that, Ms. Nelson, is that not only do they have 2 teachers, but our classrooms are connected so that they have that freedom to go between our rooms throughout the day. So that's a neat aspect that is just happening, I believe, at Mosaic. So, and they have that 2-teacher model all the way through K through 5.
Yes.
Okay, this is our student menu. Well,
One of
I
them.
choose one of them. I really like to change the menu quite often. This is just like their learning path. I like to change the menu a lot based on the needs of the students. So I will be in the middle of a week and I'll talk to Ms. Donaldson and say, we need to make some changes. So, but what their menu does for them is let them make choices. And we have a lot of different options of things that they can work on throughout the week. We make it personalized and we try to put things on their menu based around goals that their student is working on. We have options of must-dos, things they need to complete, and may-dos, things that they can do when they're finished with their first tasks. We work with the students on their menus and conference and talk to them throughout the week, talk to them about their work. But what is really unique with the menu is that they get to work at their own pace. And, kids that work slower or quicker than others can work at their own pace. They're not really told to stop or start unless we're going somewhere, but they get to work at their own pace. And we really think that's something really cool. And they'll have a menu from K through 5. They change, but at Mosaic, that's what we do with student learning.
What I love about our daily student menu is that it drives their instruction. It's usually activities, full of activities that supports the instruction that's going on for your child based on their personalized path. And it really helps them with some of the soft skills that Dr. Clark had talked about that are in our pillars. Students will really start owning their learning. And when I say owning their learning, that means they know why they're learning, how they're learning, and what they're learning. And so that's a really crucial part to being an essential part and a decision maker in what they learn. So
lots of independence is built on making choices and completion of the menu. They really hold that to their heart. They love it.
A lot of responsibility built into. So, and they can do it.
It's
amazing.
They do.
Go ahead, Dr. Clark, if you don't mind moving on to the next one. I think this is you, Melissa.
Yeah, sure. I can do this.
Yeah.
So we thought you may be interested in knowing, after you drop your child off in the morning, what in the world they're doing all day. So this is a very, very loose, but these are our times of the day that we are doing different things. So we begin our day at 9:05 with your child taking off their own coat, unpacking their own backpack, taking everything out of their backpack, like their Chromebook, their folder, their lunch. They do this all by themselves. They choose a lunch option. They either are bringing from home or choosing school lunch. And we always have a task for them to do on their table when they have finished all their chores in the morning. So they do that from 9 to 9:30. At 9:30, we meet as an entire studio. We sit together and we do calendar time. We do counting. We do everything from weather, counting days of school, anything. I mean, next week
Community building.
We do all that kind of. Next week we're going to add greater than and less than to our morning with songs and lots of movement. We do lots of music and movement. So we do a lot of whole group kind of start our day off because we are one studio and we do, all that together. So about 9 to 9:30, we celebrate birthdays. We do all kinds of really special things in kindergarten. At 10 o'clock, we go back to our own sides. Sometimes we start with a little bit of writing. Sometimes we jump right into math. It depends on where we are in meeting our standards. We do math until about 10:45, and then we put away our things and get ready for lunch and recess. This year, and it's changed, we eat lunch first. The kids go down, wash hands, use the restroom, walk to the cafeteria. They take their lunch boxes with them, or they get a tray and they sit down and eat. And then Miss Donaldson and I take a tiny little break, and we have some amazing recess aides and helpers that manage lunch with the kids, and then they take them outside to play. We pick them up at 11:40, bring them inside, usually read some books, got to take off our coats, downtime, lots of restroom breaks. And then we start our biggest chunk of the day, which is our reading, writing time, lots of menu time. We pull small groups. We have interventionists that work with us at Mosaic, and so they pull the students to do small group instruction based on their data and their needs. And we do this time until 1:55, about 1:45 when we stop to clean up and use the restroom. We go to specials. Art class is a 1-hour special, but throughout the week they will have music and PE. Those are 30-minute specials. Library and counseling with Miss Blanchette. Those are both 30-minute specials. And you'll get a schedule of that when in the fall of what they do on each day. Then we end our day with a snack, and then we join again as a whole studio to do PBL, which is our project-based time, and it's something that's unique to Mosaic that we do project-based learning. And I know that will come up in a slide coming up here soon. And then we dismiss at 3:55. So that is a typical kindergarten day.
All right. So what may you ask that your student is doing when they are on their Chromebook? You know, it's really approximately only 20 minutes a day that your child is on their Chromebook completing some sort of digital instruction. We use a resource called iReady. The whole district actually uses iReady Math and iReady Reading. I believe it's iReady Reading. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Clark, but I believe they've recently added that. But we use the supplemental. I'm sorry.
That is correct. So we do have,
Okay.
we were
don't
the
wanna
first
speak-
to have full access, but now the rest of the district does as well.
Right. So we kind of have incubated some of those ideas, and the district has kind of used and seen what we've done and run with some of those ideas. So we use it as supplemental instruction that provides a diagnostic tool. It helps guide our instruction. It puts kids on a personalized learning path based on their responses. Mrs. Comer and I have access to that, immediate access. I could pull up that data, look at that data, and start taking kids based on how they performed within this program. They usually do, as I said, about 1 to 2 activities a day for math and ELA, which is reading and writing. Usually it's reading comprehension, usually phonetic awareness and comprehension. With their weekly planning, we goal set with them. We usually begin in October, November, that we really start more meeting one-on-one and coaching them more on their menu versus just letting them kind of navigate it themselves. Really sitting down, talking with the kids about personal goals, and they have their own Chromebook from usually the end of September. We start giving them their Chromebooks. We feel like they need a lot of time before we start these digital resources to build community in our studios. So they're not giving them right away, but they will come. They are very excited about them. So that is typically what we do with some of our digital resources. So if you want to move to the next slide, Dr. Clark. Some of these transitions are cracking me up. And SeeSaw is another one. It's a district-wide piece that we have at the elementary level. It is a digital portfolio where students upload their work and learning artifacts, pictures, videos, and other things. And when I say that, sometimes it's a picture of something they made during our project-based learning time, or maybe it's a video of them reading their sight words to you, or maybe it's just them reading a book, or an activity that maybe we assigned. And so you get these real-time alerts when your child performs on this app. And you have the opportunity to see what they're learning, maybe talk to them about how they went about their learning. It gives you that mealtime conversation. You can then give feedback back to your child. You can leave an audio as well as a scribed written text back to them. It's very meaningful. The students get really excited when they hear your voice responding to them. And it's something that, again, will follow them from the minute they start here at Mosaic all the way through 5th grade. So it's something we enjoy having. We take our time coaching them with this. We've had our 5th grade buddies come down which is something we love. We have our 5th graders that buddy up with us as kindergartners, and they help coach a lot of things with our kindergartners, and they get exciting. The 5th graders get excited being the leaders and coaching the kids, and it's kind of neat to see them come back and be leaders in our building. So we love that connection with our 5th grade buddies. Okay. I think this is you, friend.
Let's see what it is.
These are some examples, sorry. So this is a student who was circling their sight words in their, or finding a reading pattern in their book. And then you can see that they recorded themselves doing it. You can see them checking off their snap words that they know. This is just a really quick check for Mrs. Comer and I. Then we go through and we can use this data to maybe coach, oh, they're missing a few of these words. And then you guys can comment, and maybe that's then feedback that you get that you can then help them at home with some of those things that maybe they're missing. And so it's really great communication, which we very much enjoy. Okay. My turn. All right. Project-based learning. We promised you we kind of tell you what this is. It is cross-curricular. Typically, we use our science and our social studies standards that the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education requires us to teach at each grade level. And we incorporate those standards. We look at those standards and we incorporate other subjects with them. So there's always writing, there's reading that goes along with it. There's sometimes, we blend a science and a social studies standard together to enhance the learning. We've taken field trips during this time to enhance their learning. We just did a field trip yesterday to the Magic House to explore force and motion, and really just kind of even get hands-on through the design thinking process. And the design thinking process walks your child through the steps of a project. There's that initial phase of where we learn what we're learning about. And then we start talking about, it's eluding my brain. We get this idea, and then we take this idea and we go through a process of turning it into a project, and then we get feedback on that project. And the feedback can be from your teacher, it can be from your peers, it can be from an audience member. We've had it in the past, pre-COVID, where parents were invited in to come and see your child's project. We've done digital. You can see on the picture here where we've done QR codes, where parents were sent the QR code to hear their child's presentation. We had done one on weather and how seasonal changes affect animals and humans. But kids, it's authentic hands-on learning. So it's really a fun way to learn, but not realize you're learning. So if you want to add anything, Mrs. Comer.
Well, I just wanted to say with that parent piece not coming in, being a parent at the school, I miss those times where we could have everybody come in to see their projects. But we were really good last year, Ms. Donaldson, about recording those SeeSaw videos with each student, right, and having those 5th graders record. I know we'll have one coming up with our national symbols in February, where we're going to record a video for each of their families so they can see what their project is, what they learned about it, and all those kinds of things. So we're not trying to take away we don't have some choices sometimes, but we want to keep the MOSAIC part of sharing those projects with all the families. So
it's important for them to understand that a project isn't just for themselves or for their teacher or for their peers, that there's a broader community to share what they've learned too. So that, again, there's that communication, which is a soft skill that they'll learn as they continue to grow through MOSAIC. It gives them a great sense of empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is just a rubric. Students recording on a green screen, their weather forecast. We kind of give them a rubric where they get to fill in the smileys, like, is this something? And we have that conversation with them after the process as to how it went, how they felt about it, how we felt they did, and really just kind of giving them that self-check, which is important in that communication and feedback. I don't even know what's next. This is me being goofy.
Surprise.
All right, well, welcome. This is just one snapshot of what Studio K can look like, since you guys are not going to be able to physically be here with us. This is my half of the studio. So Mrs. Comer and I have a home base in a half of a studio. And so we each have our own home base, but the kids know that they can pass through between the studios. This is from a perspective from Mrs. Comer's side. You can see into my half of the studio. Go ahead, Mrs. Comer.
This is my side. It's changed from last year because we've loosened some COVID protocols. So we have, a large group learning area. We have visuals for the students everywhere, both sides, so that they can, we're working on a lot of writing like right now. They each have their own seat, but we have the flexibility to sit wherever they feel comfortable that they can learn best. So they float around a lot. They float between sides of the studio, depending on, what's open at the time. Sometimes those curtains are closed, but when they're open, we can float between the sides. So this is the Comer side.
Then if you want, I can kind of describe. So this is the MOSAIC's gym. We have, so in addition to the instruction they'll get in their classroom studio with Mrs. Donaldson and Mrs. Comer, they have art once a week for 60 minutes. They have PE and music 3 times a week for 30 minutes. And then Miss Blanchette, our school counselor, goes in as well for a 30-minute lesson with the students in class. And then they also have library as well for 30 minutes a week. So yeah, as I mentioned, this is MOSAIC's gym. Now what's behind that wall, as you can see, that's our stage, and that's a collapsible wall. So that wall can fold back into a stage, but what is actually behind there is our music room, actually, it would have made sense if I put the music room right here, but this is actually our school library. This is Studio Eve. Mrs. Nichols is our librarian, and it's a very nice space. Students have the opportunity to check out books. They'll do coding in here. They'll do engineering, novel engineering, breakout spaces. So a lot of great things happening in this space as well. I believe next I have the music room. This is the music room. This is, as I mentioned, this is the space behind that wall. So at any point in time, it's really neat. We can, like I said, move that wall and have our stage, but in the time being, we use it as our music room. And then here we have the cafeteria. So students come here, recess and lunch is a combination of 45 minutes. So about 20 minutes to eat, 20 minutes for recess, a little bit. Often we give them a little bit more time for recess because we know they need that time to run around and burn off some energy. And then our playground, this is just one view of our playground. As you can straight back in the very background there, we have monkey bars and swings. Here in the foreground we have our playground. And actually, I need to probably update this photo, to be honest with you, because we've actually have added some things to our outdoor classroom, and that's you kind of see a little bit to the right here, where students can enjoy the space, where we have some seating area, but we also do have some plants that we will plant, especially in the spring. And I know that Ms. Donaldson, Mrs. Comer goes out there quite often to see the growth and then also harvest whatever they're growing as well. So it's fun, and the students really enjoy that. So that's our learning spaces that we have at MOSAIC. Next, I just kind of want to talk about communication, and there's a couple ways that we communicate with our families. One, we do have monthly PTO meetings. They're usually the first Tuesday of every month. Sometimes we change that by the year, just depending on the schedule. I also encourage everyone to like us on Facebook. We communicate through Facebook, kind of what's happening. We have a main Facebook page for the school, and I like I said, I update that on almost a daily basis, just kind of things that are happening in studios. But we also have, each studio has their own Facebook page as well that you'll have. It is a private page, so the families that have a child in that particular studio will have the chance to see what's going on. And our teachers do a really good job of keeping up that, I wouldn't say daily, but several times a week, of things that are happening in the classroom. I provide a weekly email blast to our families on Mondays, just kind of an update of what's going on. Our teachers also communicate through email, through newsletters. We do our very best to be as transparent as possible and try to get as much information to our families. I know sometimes it might be a little bit of information overload. We try not to do that, but I can see how I can feel that way. I've put my email on here. As I mentioned earlier, if you have, we're going to be taking questions here in a minute, but if you have any specific questions or concerns or anything private, please feel free to reach out to me with any questions you may have. There will also be a kindergarten screener this year, and actually this is going to be held through our early childhood center. So it's going to be open on February 4th, and here's the link that you can, and I'm going to be sending this out to everyone in attendance, so you'll have a chance. And this is just a little bit of information. The screener just kind of helps us understand where your child is performing, and it gives you guys a really good feedback, and also to our teachers about how we can prepare for your child when they enter kindergarten. I have a little quote here from Erin Amador, who's our Parents and Teachers Early Childhood Coordinator, and kind of her recommendation of doing the dial. So again, the dial just gives you some good information. Again, you can sign up. I believe you can sign up now, but the actual dial will begin on February the 4th. And I have Erin's information on here as well. You can call or email her as well. It takes about an hour. It is a pretty thorough process, an hour and 15 minutes. So they'll give you all that information if you choose to do this. This is our lottery timeline. And so so the district is kind of changing their kindergarten registration procedures. They've changed that a little bit, where we will now have, and actually more of the details will come out. I don't want to go into too much details because they're still kind of fine tuning a couple of things, but from my understanding, kindergarten registration for the district will take place on February 22nd. You can see on the timeline that I'm presenting here tonight that I'm having families, you can start applying for the lottery on February 7th. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be on the 7th. I will, on the district website, on Facebook, you'll have the opportunity to fill out the lottery application, which is going to be a Google form. And then you'll have that Google form will be open from February 7th through February 25th. It will close at 4 p.m. on the 25th. By March 4th, parents will be notified of the lottery results, and families will have a week to decide if they want to accept the position at Mosaic for the 2022-2023 school year. When I send out from what I've been told, all the details should be worked out in terms of not just the lottery process, which we already have, but in terms of the kindergarten registration. You do have to register for kindergarten in the Melville School District. This is just, right now I'm just talking about the lottery. So, because to attend Mosaic, you not only have to get the acceptance into the lottery, you have to be registered. So, and that does include families who already have children at Mosaic as well. If you currently have a child at Mosaic, those families have first choice to send their child. So I do that for convenience. We do have families that have multiple children. So keep that in mind as well. If we have a new family who is applying, and if your child gets in, if you have younger children, that is also will be an option for you as well in the future. So any family that currently has a child at Mosaic has first rights. Please know, for those families who have a child right now at Mosaic, you do need to register your child still in the district, and you do need to apply for the lottery. There is actually a link on there, actually on the Google form for the lottery, where you'll click that you're saying that you do have a child at Mosaic. So again, now open on February 7th. Look for that communication on district website and Facebook. You have about 3 weeks to fill that out, and then parents will be notified on the 4th. And I believe that is our slides. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'm going to take time to answer any questions that came up. And please, Ms. Blanchett, Ms. Gomer, Mrs. Donaldson, please feel free to jump into the conversation as well. I'm just going to go down the line. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. So if you have any questions, please throw them in the chat.
Or
let's see. quick question. Is the meeting for all kindergartens in Melville School District?
I already read it.
Just for Mosaic? Yep. Let's see here. Looks like
I answered.
one of the questions were about my presentation earlier. I'm not, thankfully, Ms. McComber caught me on that one. Let's see. Yeah, all right. Okay, so Mrs. Reese just asked, do we register for kindergarten at the home school? It's going to, for my understanding, it's going to be a little bit different. It looks like we will have a district registrar that will, we're going to have, like, I understand, maybe a north and south. So it might be online now. So it's going to look a little bit different than it has in the past. In the past, you would go to your home school physically and kind of fill out the paperwork. Looks like it's going to be all online. Those details I'll make sure to include both in the email blast that I send out to families, what will be included on Facebook and social media, and then also what will be included on the district website, excuse me.
As far as the kids in each class, we have 46 total spots, 23 per teacher will be assigned. So there are potentially 46 students that can be accepted into Studio K.
I remember the one question about twins. It's a family. So like when my kids joined Mosaic, our whole family was accepted. So both of my kids got in. So twins, they would both get in. Correct, Dr.
Correct.
Clark? Okay.
That is correct. And you bring up a good point as well. And I don't think this has been asked yet, but if a family applies and their kindergarten child gets in, and let's say they have an older child that's at another school in Melville, that does not guarantee them. Like, let's say a family has a kindergarten student from next year, they get into, they are able to attend Mosaic, and let's say they have a fourth grader at another school in the district. I cannot guarantee that child coming over in fourth grade. If there's a spot available, we would definitely accommodate, but I don't think that's been asked, but I know that has been asked in the past. There's a question before and after school care. We do have Y care. It opens at 6:30 in the morning, and then after school care goes to 6 p.m. at night.
No, you do
Mrs.
not
Warner
have-
said she heard that Studio 5 is the best. Is this true?
No. We do play
I
in
was still say
kindergarten.
kindergarten's the best. No, we
better
are
say
very
that.
fortunate to have an incredible team all the way through. And I mentioned this earlier in our presentation. There's a great, because I think the size of our school in terms of amount of teachers and students, we're very well close connected. It's not uncommon for a fifth grade teacher to know all the kindergarten students and vice versa. So, again, it's a close knit family, that's for sure.
One of the questions was, do you have to apply every year? No. If your child is accepted at kindergarten, they are in the Mosaic loop. They'll stay through fifth grade unless if you decide to do something different. Dr. Clark, you can speak more to that if you have anything else to add, but once you're in
Mosaic, you're in Mosaic now. So once you're there, that's you do not have to apply every year. Nope.
All right. District employees able to participate in the lottery?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
Mhm.
Extracurricular activities. Yes, there are lots of extracurricular activities. It depends on, Melville has their own activities that they offer. We've had kindergartners coding. I know I teach a fourth and fifth grade engineering class in the morning on Mondays, and we do some fun engineering projects that the students drive the instruction. So it's kind of nice for me to get a taste of what the fourth and fifth graders are doing and can do, and reaping the reward personally of what we've built at kindergarten and shown them and how they progress. So it's really gives me chills seeing the progress of what our students do and how they own their learning because of that class that I teach. So there are all kinds of opportunities.
Yeah, we currently offer 13 different clubs. We have over 140 students participating in those clubs, and to a student, they can have, it's impossible to do it, but we can offer up to 660 minutes a week of just of clubs. So there's a lot of opportunities for students to participate and find something that they really enjoy. So
No sports though, like teams.
no sports.
Nothing like that. No.
Well, I would say like Girls on the Run, we have offered. It's not a sport, but it is, a physical activity. But yeah,
We've
unfortunately,
had some others in the past that those clubs kind of fluctuate between teachers' interest and what they can provide. So it depends on the staff members, what kind of clubs are offered. They do change typically.
Gosh, we have a game club, we have yoga club, we have what else have we had, Scott? I mean, just recently, gardening club or
Green Club, Production Club, Robotics Club, Engineering,
yearbook.
Leadership Club. So quite a bit. There's a lot of different activities. Coding, bricks for kids with kids. We've had, I mean, it's Crazy Eights Game Club. We've had, we've quite a few. Like I said, right now we're offering 13. So. There was a question about transportation. We offer transportation in the morning through district buses. In the afternoon, parents are responsible for picking up, and our school hours are from drop off begins at 8:55, and then the school day really begins at 9:10, and then we do dismissal at 3:55. So that's kind of the school day. So that is something that to factor in. That again, transportation in the afternoon is the responsibility of the family. Y Care is on site. It takes place in our gymnasium. Again, I'm just kind of going through these questions. If you don't get selected in the lottery for kindergarten, is there potential for entry to the future grades? Yes, and actually this is something that I've been working on with central office. We plan on doing a lottery every year. So once you're in kindergarten, you're good, but we know that families move out of the area. And so that could potentially open a spot, for example, in this case, for first grade for 2023-24. And we would do a lottery again. So that is something that we're going to be doing each year.
IEPs,
oh,
yes.
Fourth.
Go
Someone
ahead.
called out fourth grade.
They're a great team as well. I'm going to be honest. All of our teams are amazing. We all have our unique abilities. We all bring different aspects to what we do in our building. Not only do kids get feedback, but we give feedback to each other on what we see, and we get excited for each other. So I love that team aspect in our building. IEPs, yes, IEPs are offered. We are a public school. We include everybody. So any child with an IEP to attend as well. We have resources to
the same resources in the other schools too. So we don't limit or we don't have anything different. We can provide all the services in our buildings.
I will say one thing: we do not have a self-contained room.
Correct. Yes. So depending on when it comes to if a child has a current IEP, we would review the IEP with the family and look at is it obviously the team will determine proper placement. It's usually at MOSAIC. So and so that was the last question. I'll give it a few more minutes here to if anyone else wants to ask a question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the chat a couple of things. Again, I'm going to put my email address, and I'm also going to put my office phone number that you can reach me at. If you have any questions that come up, after following tonight's presentation, and like I said, feel free to reach out, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And again, I want to thank everyone for attending this evening. It was neat to see some of our future kindergartners, their faces on here tonight. Like I said, it seemed like it turned into almost a play date. Now, we're back. I don't know if there's if there's an opportunity. It would be great if families could turn their cameras on so we can see those future kindergartners. That'd be awesome, if possible. All right. Would everyone like to say hi? Let's see. On average, how many do not get selected in the lottery? It's been a little bit different each year, but I would say we take 46. We take 46 students. We've had over 100 families apply for the lottery, so usually that's been about the average is around 100 families. So it's I guess you would say 50-50 chance. So yeah, let's see. We got a couple we got a couple of those. All right, there's a couple waves going on.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I'm Colton Coker.
Nice to meet you.
We're watching Bluey.
Well, it's great seeing all of you. Great seeing those future kindergartners or future leaders. Mrs. Donaldson, Mrs. Comer, Mrs. Blanchett, is there anything else that you wanted to share before we step off?
I don't think so. I just want to say welcome. We look forward to welcoming every child who comes in our door. Mrs. Comer and I are very passionate educators, and we love your children.
Oh, sorry.
We're watching
What are you
We're
watching?
We're watching Bluey.
Bluey. Oh my gosh, that's the favorite around a lot of our homes.
And then he's blowing balloons.
Oh, he's blowing balloons. Amazing.
Oh,
Takes a
thank
lot
you,
of air
Lisa.
to
I
do
see
that.
Lisa shared a comment about how about that Mosaic is a small community and love to support each other.
Hey, do you like my tongue?
Yes, we do. All right. Well, everyone, thank you again for attending this evening. We really appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and take care. And again, look for that communication from our district about the open lottery. Take care, everyone. Have a good evening.
Good night. Bye, Maxton.
Bye. Bye, Miss Donaldson.
Bye. See you later.
Bye. Benny.
You just.
Bye.
Hey, Maxon, what's your favorite car now?
Hold on. What's your favorite car?
My favorite car is a Ferrari.
Ooh, a Ferrari. All right, I'm gonna send something to your mom here in a second. She's got something to show you.
I'm gonna show you something. Okay.
Coming your way.
Comer too.
Hello, Google.
Can you say hi to Miss Comer too?
Hi, Miss Google.
Shh. He said, he's like, oh, hey, Comer. That's what he said when he saw you come up. Hey, Comer.
Bye, Google.
Bye, Comer.
Bye.
You don't mind hearing my dog barking like crazy. I'd say, hi.
Okay, that's enough.
All right.
Benny says
Take care,
bye to
everyone.
Maxton.
You say bye to
Oh,
Benny.
Bye, Betty.
He left me.
He's gone.
I'm being
They
joined.
do that. The boys, they run away.
Benny.
All right, say bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye.
Take care.
We'll see ya.